Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 189er of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. A happy Thanksgiving to you and to all of your enemies. Now, with that preamble out of the way, bitch, get off my dick. Let me say that one more time. Let me reiterate that statement. Bitch, get off my dick. Sometimes you gotta say that. Hey, don't you feel that? You're walking down the sidewalk. There's pedestrians wearing sweatpants around their hips, and they got Crocs on, and their hair's not done right, and there's slush on the side of the road, and you're worried about coming up onto you on your nice slacks, on your nice denim jeans, and you just want to say to the world, bitch, get off my dick. And it's not saying it, because anyone can say, bitch, get off your dick. It's saying it with a certain gumption. When you say those words, when you say, bitch, get off my dick, when there's gumption behind it, people get off your dick. That's what I've noticed. Because there are a lot of people who will say that phrase, and they say it in jest to their lover, to their one-night stand. They say, bitch, get off my dick. Get off my dick. Go to the bathroom. Clean up. But sometimes when a person says it with a little bit of, a little passion, a little validity behind those words, you just stay clear of his dick. Or you sneeze. Because ladies can say that too. A lady can say, bitch, get off my dick. All right, we're all about empowerment here. As a lady, as a babe, I implore you to say to your man, bitch, get off my dick. All right? That will put him in a little twirly spin mentally for the next 30 seconds. Sometimes as a lady, as a babe, you got to do that to your man. Tell him, bitch, get off my dick. But as a man, you got to look your lady in the eye and also and look the world in. See, that is how you say, bitch, get off my dick. See, you look at your lady if you have one, but you're not just telling her, you're telling it to everybody in the world when you say it, when you're looking at her. Bitch, get off my dick. And she'll know that you're not messing around. You mean business. Moving forward, and again, happy Thanksgiving. I'm Pearl Pilgrim. When I was in elementary school, we were taught the Indians and the Pilgrims got along, but then elder siblings of mine would say, well, wait till you get to middle school, and you really find out what happens when the teachers really teach you about the story, the real story of the Pilgrims and the Indians. And then you get to middle school. For me, that was 6th grade. And then you do the lesson, and you find out, or they tell you, oh, no, the Pilgrims were in the wrong, and the Indians were these just peaceful, all loving the earth, never waste. They kill the buffaloes, but they use every little bit of the buffalo. They use no waste. There's nothing left after they kill the buffalo. They use all of it, and it's almost reverse, where the Indians are just the peak of humanity, of virtue, and the Pilgrims are just curmudgeons and evildoers and snakes. But then you grow up, and then you start learning. Well, the Indians, and they have some skeletons in their closets as well, and they're the ones who put those skeletons there because they killed people just as much as the Pilgrims did. But hey, I'm a white guy, so I'm gonna ride or die with the Pilgrims. I mean, you know I am. What am I going to do? I can't jump ship to the Indians. They're going to think, well, look at me. Oh, no, we don't trust you. We're not letting you in our tribe in this casino. Personally, I don't like casinos. I worked at a casino at a time when you were allowed to smoke there. So I was always sick, had a cough, had phlegm in my mouth. The tribal people who worked there, I never got along with them. So I'm pro Pilgrim. Make of that what you will. But hey, I ride with the Mayflower. not whatever the Indians and their canoes. I'm Pilgrims, but enough about that. And I do hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. The third wheel is worse or acts worse, that is, than the Indians and the Pilgrims combined. When I say the third wheel, the B-Man's talking about the third lady in a party. All right. So last week I was at I ended stand-up early. So me and a few buddies, stand-up buddies, like we got done with our gig like 9:30, and one was like, "Hey, let's go to the Bunker. It's a little bar downtown area in Connecticut." So we go to the Bunker. We're down there, and I'm not drinking because I drove, and I don't really like to do that. So I'm conversing. But there's this other guy there who's not comic, but he's friends with all the comics in the area, and he does a lot of cocaine. He smokes a lot of doobies. He's always offering me a Jeffrey. He's like, "Hey, B-Man, you want to go do a Jeffrey with me?" If you don't know, and I did not know, he taught me this. A Jeffrey is a marijuana joint with cocaine also mixed in the joint, and I don't really do either. I'll do like a regular doobie. I'll take a puff of one every once in a while to be polite, to be cordial. But I don't fuck with the cocaine, so I always say, "Thank you, but no thanks." But I think he had smoked a Jeffrey, so he was feeling himself. He was very talkative. He's like, "Let's go. Hey, see that babe sorry, she had this pink hair, and it was attractive. She was too pale for me, but he was into her. So he's like, let's go talk to her and her friend. But it was a group of 3. That's why I'm getting out with the third wheel. So we go up. And again, my comic friend who smoked a Jeffrey, who's high on cocaine and the doobie, as you can imagine, he's very talkative. So he's the lead. I'm the Scottie Pippen. I'm not really saying much. I'm letting him. He's taking the lead. He's doing all the talking. And almost immediately, like 2-3 sentences in, the ugly member. She wasn't ugly, but she wasn't even fat, but she was definitely heavier set than the 2 women my drug-induced friend and I were kind of talking to, and immediately she's like, "Oh no, we're getting pizza. Like we gotta go." Like she was cock blocking her 2 friends. Now clearly her 2 friends, they weren't feeling us at all. They weren't vibing us at all. But they were being cordial. They were entertaining us. But not. It was clear like, oh, there were like nothing's going to happen. Like the set was going downhill almost right away. But the third wheel, like she was trying to put the kibosh on the interactions before it got going. Like she wasn't even allowing us to have a chance with these 2 babes. And like maybe that's our fault for like not getting her out of the way or putting her in her place, as it will. For not being as seasoned enough to do that. So maybe that's on us. But we're 2 pretty fucking good guys. The B-Man, I'm a stand-up comedian. I have a project called Verbal Graffiti. I make short films. Like I'm fully employed. Like I have a lot going for me. I have a personality. It's a unique personality, but it's a personality. So like we're actually 2 pretty decent guys. And this third wheel, who wasn't getting any attention, like she was cock blocking us. And I'm fine with that. Like you want to cock block 2 strangers that you don't know, talking to your friends, fine, do that. But do know that like you just kind of ruined your shitty friend. Because me and my friend who smokes, or acquaintance, guy I know who smokes Jeffries and dabbles into drugs, but he's a very personable fella, has a great personality. He's tall, he's Russian, he's an interesting guy. Again, he has a personality. Like the third wheel was trying to block us. And who knows what might have fermented if she did not try to block it. Like those 2 girls, like their lives. Those 2 girls, their lives, those babes, their lives are worse off not having the B-Man and my Russian Jeffrey smoking acquaintance in their lives. And that's partially to do with the third wheel with the snarl face. Like she had such a face right away because I was sober And I could tell right away, as soon as we started talking, she got aggravated. The third wheel was aggravated. She's like, how dare you? How dare you interrupt us? I'm like, bitch, get off my dick. Get off. I didn't tell her that. But afterwards, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about. I'm like, she's a terrible friend. Like, I don't give a fuck that she's a third wheel. She's a terrible friend for preventing her girlfriends from engaging longer with the B-man and her. Like, and it's not just her. It's so many third friends. Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, I understand it. It just frustrates me because as a comedian, as a guy, like I go out if a couple of gals or just one gal, even if she's a brute, she comes up and she starts chatting with a guy friend of mine, like I'll pump him up. I'll pump. Hey, he's great. Like, yeah, his Mercedes is out back. We're about to go for a ride. Yeah, he just performed at the Cellar in New York. Like, I'll lie. I'll not lie, but I'll make him seem like a better guy than he actually is because I'm rooting for him. Whoever the guy may be, like, hey, he's chatting up a babe. Like, good for him. Maybe he'll get some sneeze out of this. I'm rooting for him. So the logic of the third wheel, like trying to cock block her friends, I get it, but it's frustrating. That woman's logic about I'm not. If I'm not getting any, I'm making sure nobody in my group is getting any, and I don't even mean like getting like sex around. I'm just like having a conversation. Like if I'm not the center of it, then nobody is going to talk, and that's frustrating. So if you're a third wheel out there, be better. Be a good friend. Pump your friends up when two strangers come up to talk to your friend. Don't be the third wheel. Don't give the snarl face. Don't say you had pizza and we got to get going right away. Let the B-man engage. All right, moving forward. This next one comes from the subreddit. I actually don't know the name of this subreddit. I think this might come from 4chan, which is a site I've always wanted to go to 4chan. Don't know where it is. Don't know how to get it. Is it on the dark web? I recently heard the CIA shut it down, but the CIA, but 4chan, yeah, it's like Candyland to me. It's I want to go there. Seems like they have a lot of fun, but I wouldn't know how to interact there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's my stance on 4chan. Someone who knows of it but doesn't know of it. Anyway, I think this might be on Reddit from 4chan or one of those type of sites. All right, help me, please. I don't know what to do. Be me, be bored at work, go to toilet to waste time, get bored on toilet, take shorts while sitting on toilet, and keep putting them back on to waste time. Get paid for it, so why not? Get bored of playing with shorts, build a tiny hammock out of toilet paper for my dick, play with dick hammock, shirt keeps falling on dick hammock, destroying it, put shirt in mouth so playing with dick hammock is easier, get paid for it, so why not? Suddenly feel phone vibrating in undressed shorts, take dick hammock in right hand, reach for phone with left, grab phone in pants, raise it in front of face, roll 4, try to unlock screen, dexterity check failed, critical miss, phone slips out of hand, roll 4, try to catch phone midair, dexterity check failed, critical miss, phone send flying away from me, reroll +1, dexterity check passes, with outstretched arm the phone is being caught, hear the toilet door open, new female employee peeks through the door, pick is what I assume she had a look at. She ran away and went home, didn't talk to anyone. I left shortly after. I'm scared to go back to work Monday. What do? Question mark. Well, you're a better man than I am. I'll tell you that. Certainly I don't have the IQ. I'm not gifted or talented enough to have the ingenuity to make a dick hammock out of toilet paper, and I assume it's single ply because it is an office setting, and they usually have single ply toilet paper there. In addition, Mr. Perfect, my wiener, whom I love, but he's not long enough to fit snugly inside a toilet paper hammock. So you're beating me 2-0, intellectually and dick size. So good for you. A tip on my penis to you. Elon Musk, if he knew about this, he'd be gleeful for you. He'd applaud you as well. This is what makes America better and more prosperous than every other country in the world, is our ingenuity. Not mine, but other Americans like yourself. You telling us this story about your dick hammock, it's the reason why we don't need any more HB1 visas for all those Indians coming to America. Because there's enough ingenuity here in America that make these corporations prosper. And get the bottom line be higher each quarter, on the stock market, whatever the fuck that is. So I'm happy with you. You shouldn't be worried. See, this isn't your fault. I think you're in the right here. You really did nothing wrong. Like you were on the toilet. You're just literally dicking around, wasting time at work, getting paid to do so. And this, bitch, get off my dick, right? Like you're on the toilet, and this bitch, new employee, she opens the door without knocking. That's on her. You did nothing wrong. Like she's in the wrong for not knocking before opening the bathroom door. So even if she suffers PTSD and runs to HR on Monday, like you have an out. Like I was on the toilet. She's the one who walked in on me. And then she may complain, well, you didn't lock the door. Well, you have the built-in excuse that this isn't your home base. Like you can just say, oh, I thought I locked it. I'm sorry. And it will all blow over. And she's probably so embarrassed that she's not going to go to HR. So you're not going to get written up or fired or put on suspension. You're fine. You're in the right. And best of all is after this new employee, babe, after she gets over her PTSD, she's going to remember that you got a dick hammock dick. You have a worthy dick for her. So she'll probably start treating you better. Or inviting you to lunch in the upcoming weeks after she's through with her PTSD. So it's all good on your front. Don't be embarrassed at all. Yeah, that's fun. I gotta say, there's no thrill quite like using a public restroom and not locking the door. Especially if it's co-ed, because there are some of those these days. Just especially at work, you have a co-ed bathroom. No gender, boys, girls bathroom. Go in the stall, or if it's a one toilet bathroom, don't lock the door. There's no thrill like that. Like wondering, oh wow, maybe someone's going to open the door and see me. And like that's fun. Like I used to do that at work. It was a prank, a little pervertedness to it. Because the person who opens the door, oh, it's quick. Oh, apology. I'm sorry. And no one ever thinks it's nefarious. All right, but so it's a fun little game you can play. I suggest that you play it yourself if you work in an office setting where there's a co-ed bathroom. Where I can't fuck with you is wasting time in your office bathroom. I have so many friends, and I know I'm in a minority with this. I have so many friends of mine, maybe not so many, but some friends of mine who work in corporate America, and what I read online as well, which confirms this, is that a lot of white-collar workers, males that is, love wasting time in the public restroom at work because in their mind, they're stealing time and money from their corporate overlord. And I just that's not me. It's been well documented that to be man, I'm a quick pooper. I'm in and out because of my upbringing. When you're the youngest of 5, all sharing one bathroom, you don't get to loiter on the toilet. You do your business, get out, because there's always somebody waiting in line. So public restrooms, I'm in, I'm out as quickly as I can. I think there's better ways to steal a corporation's time than doom scrolling while your khaki pants are around your ankles. Personally, me, how do I waste time? A better way to waste time or steal your company's time, that is if it's a large corporation, just look through the directory on Teams or your emails. It is like myself, for example. I work for a multinational corporation. We have offices all over the world. I work from home, but so I'll go on Teams and I'll just start scrolling through all the teams I'm not part of or all the departments that I'm not in. And I'll just start scrolling through Teams or the email list and see which employees have photos of themselves. Because in my company, that's not required. So usually, I don't. A lot of my teammates don't. Everyone in management, I think they have to. But what I find is when I scroll through that, usually the younger and more attractive the babe employee is, the more likely she is to have a photo attached to her email or her Teams profile. And that's what I do. I'll just waste time scrolling through hundreds, thousands of names, and, just making a mental note who's fuckable, who's not. That's how I waste my time, that and just scrolling through my phone, listening to podcasts. But if you're in an office, right, if you're in that slavery, that rat race, there's better things you can do to waste time than just sitting down on a toilet waiting for an intruder. I don't know. I don't get it. I'll never get it. Let's go look at a video. Episode 189er, segment 2. Get to the point. I'm talking to myself here, not to you. Get to the point. IQ number. That is the only thing employers should look at when looking for new employees, is how high is your IQ. I don't understand. Is this illegal? This whole thing where we need a cover letter and then our resume and our credentials, take all that, crumple it up, put it in the laptop wastebasket, delete it, whatever the fuck that goes. Don't understand technology. Well, honestly, if you're an employer, a corporation, and you're all about the profit, the bottom line, progress, it would seem to me, and again, I'm only entry level. They don't let me in this watch over anybody else, manage anybody else. I am in the bottom, least paid employee in every corporation I've ever worked at, employer I've ever had. But right, isn't that kind of what Elon Musk does? Like Tesla and SpaceX and Google and Apple, they go out, find the people with the highest IQ, say, hey, come work for us. We'll pay you handsomely, and you'll have a good life. We use your intelligence, and we'll pay you for that. Like if I was an employer, I wouldn't want anybody with an IQ below 100. Like, is that... So that should be that. Don't have an interview. Don't have there should be no interview. You should just go and log online. Like, hey, here's our company. We're hiring for this role. Here's the IQ test. You take their IQ test. If you get above whatever their requirement is for an IQ, you're hired. If not, you're a dum-dum. Go work for one of the dum-dum corporations that are below us. That's how universities should work too. Why do you have to go to high school? Or why do you have to write an essay, a college essay? Why do you have to do activities, extracurricular activities, sports clubs? What's your IQ? Right? Isn't that the SATs? Isn't that what that's all about? To see what your intelligence is? That's a follow through. Yale, Harvard, Princeton, SAT above 1,500, you're in. You're good. Same with the best employers. Here's our IQ. If you're above a 130, we'll give you more than the person making whose IQ is 110. Like everything else is just You're straying from the point. The objective is to harvest all the talent, all the intelligence, the best minds you want to work for you. Why is that not? I know it's happening, but why can't we just cut out all the fluff and get to the sniz? And get to the sniz. What's your IQ? That must be illegal. Like, I don't know. I'm generally asking. It must be illegal to ask a prospective employee, what's your IQ? Because I've applied for a lot of jobs and I've never been given an IQ test. I've been given tests that are similar to an IQ. Like, hey, can you solve this problem? Usually I can't. That's why I never got employed. But that should be your cover letter. Your IQ number. Just a thought. Just a thought I have as a underling to the overlords. Take it, if you will. You're welcome. All right, moving forward. This comes from the subreddit Locker Rooms. Been in a few of those. Naked in a locker room sauna. Oh my. I am the only one who is ever naked in a sauna. Today I went to 2 different saunas. The first sauna had 4 different guys wearing clothes. The second sauna had 3 different guys wearing clothes. I'm sure they look at me, but none of them stare. I sometimes get a semi, but never completely hard. Good for you. I also brush my teeth, shave, put lotion on, and pee naked. I wish more guys would be more comfortable with being naked. As do I. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I wish more guys in this generation, millennials and moving forward, would be more comfortable with our anatomy, especially if that anatomy is naked around other anatomy. But you're not wrong. Like, you're not saying anything any of us don't know. Like, every guy knows, and I'm not going to speak about the babes in their locker room. So this is men's talk here. It's one of my great regrets, if we're being honest. And I'm going to be honest with you with this one. It's one of my greatest regrets I have is not being naked in the high school locker room. Because I was on the basketball team. I started JV my junior year, so an accomplished player, you could call it, the B-man. But I was in locker rooms all the time throughout high school, and I never got naked. Like, I was, nor did any of my teammates. Like, that was just the culture. So I was in high school, early 2000s. Like, that was the culture. Nobody got naked. Everyone had a towel on. You take your shorts off or your boxer shorts and you put your underwear on, and then you take the towel off so that your genitals, your balls, and your penis are not exposed to your teammates and or classmates. And I'm looking back, I do regret not being a leader, not taking a stand, not having more confidence in my anatomy and Mr. Perfect, to be the one to take that step forward into the community shower, derobe and shower after gym class or after practice or a game. I didn't, I wasn't the B-man when I was in high school. I didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that aura to me. Maybe back then I thought I did, but I certainly did not, because I wouldn't take a shower naked. I was scared about what my classmates, what my teammates would think of me. So I just never got in the shower. It wasn't just me, it was the rest of my classmates. Like I said, that was the culture of millennials, at least at my school it was. So I would have gym class, first, second period. The rest of the day I'd be stinky with the dry sweat on my skin and just all that testosterone and stinky pits. And I would deal with it the rest of the day. Or I should say, the classmates who had to sit next to me in class, they dealt with my stink because I wouldn't take a shower, and nor would any of us. And I should have been better back then. I distinctly remember going to Shelton High School for a road basketball game. I believe it was my junior year. And Shelton had a big sports program. They were very good at sports. Shelton, Connecticut, that is. So we were in the locker room. We're changing. It's pregame, so we're changing it. From we had to wear like a shirt and tie on game days. So we're undressing, putting our uniforms on, and like further in the locker room where the showers are, like I noticed the Shelton wrestling team was all showering naked together, and they're walking in and out, and the steam was coming from the showers, and they were fully exposed. They weren't rushing; they were just taking their time, cleaning themselves. And I remember looking at them and go, "Wow, that's something." That's it was like, oh, I was just I was amazed. Like, wow, they're really naked all in the shower together, and they do that. And then over in our corner of the locker room, we were all just a bunch of pussies, like hiding our private parts and having our towels on, doing the thing where you take your shorts off and pull them back on. And it's such a looking back, it's like, were we even a team? My basketball team in high school? I there's no way to know for sure, but I'm pretty confident that if my basketball team in high school, if we had showered and changed, gotten fully naked in the locker room each day after practice and after games, like we would have been a closer knit group. We probably would have played better. We would have won more games. And now looking back, I don't even think I could call ourselves a team. Like, how could we be a team if we didn't even shower together? Like, I had 15 guys on our basketball team. I haven't seen any of their penises. Like, how can I call you a team member if I haven't seen your penis or your butt? Like, how? It's like, yeah. I mean, we practiced, we road trips, bus trips, hijinks, parties. We drank together, but we never showered together. And I gotta imagine, like that Shelton wrestling team, I'm sure they're probably still tight and close together. And I've lost touch with a lot of my basketball players that I played with. And there's a closeness when you shower together, not like intimately, but like friendship wise. So yeah, I regret that. I kind of feel a little ick saying I was part of a basketball team because we played together, but we weren't a team because we didn't shower together. That's the proclamation I'm making now. But as much as I regret that, I don't blame myself. It was just a generation that grew up in. Like, we all know this as men. Right? Like, the older generation, they're more comfortable being naked with one another. Whereas maybe, I don't know, post 1990, anyone born after 1990, being naked together, it was taken out of us. We were taught early on. All our parents taught us or made us scared of pedophiles and priests and what they did to the boys. So there was this, and I remember going to middle school, 6th grade, and the teacher showed us the sex registry list. There was a website for that we learned about in 6th grade. So of course, like, we weren't going to be all willy-nilly naked together. When you're taught in kindergarten, as I was, about good touch, bad touch, like protect your private parts, you're not going to get naked in front of your classmates. And it's not a good touch, bad touch. It's just, it'd be protective of your parts, right? And that's what we were taught. And most boys, millennial boys, like, that's what we were taught. So we were always not going to get naked in front of other guys in the locker room. And it's not our fault. Like, I distinctly remember also that going from 5th to 6th grade, 6th grade was the first grade where you had to change for gym class. So you'd have to get naked, with your classmates. So I remember that summer prior to 6th grade having a lot of anxiety about having to change for gym class. I still remember the fear that summer of not knowing what was going to go down in that locker room. And I might be wrong, but I do think I asked my parents to buy me boxers, because at the time I think I wore whitey tighties and I was petrified that the boys, my classmates, were going to make fun of me for that. So I asked my parents to get me boxers. So I started wearing boxers in 6th grade. Now I wear boxer briefs, but at the time it was boxers. And all all those 3 years of middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I would always like be in the corner of the locker room, like looking as I was changing to make sure no one got a glimpse of my private parts. And I wasn't the only one. We were all doing the same, but I don't blame myself. Again, it was just how we were raised to be cognizant of pedophiles and priests and diddlers. So of course we're not going to get naked in a locker room. But the one question, and I can't answer this, so I'm posing this to all the elder statesmen who are watching this. If you're an elder statesman who's comfortable being naked in a locker room, you grew up in a time period, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, where there was hijinks going on in the locker room, naked together. Now, the question I want to pose is, was there an unspoken rule not to mention or not to tell all the girls in school about the boys' penises? Do you understand what I'm getting at? Because if the guys, if you're in high school, middle school, high school, you're showering together naked. So you're clearly able to see which of the boys are real men with big dicks and which of the ones are pretenders, yearning for a growth spurt the following summer. And like, does that information stay in the locker room back then? Because I'm just thinking this out. So if I was in high school, when I was in high school, and I know, let's say there was a guy who like fancied a girl in class, but the girl was dating another guy. But since we all showered together, we knew her boyfriend had a pinky dick, or maybe the girl fancied another guy, but we all knew he had a pinky dick. Like, we would let her know, oh, you don't want to date that guy. He's got a pinky dick. We've seen it in the shower. Like avoid that guy at all costs. Go find yourself a real man, maybe myself. Like that information would leak out to the girls in the school. Now, a question I'm posing in a long-winded way, I should find a more concise way to ask this. Oh, my elder statesman, what was the ruling with that information when you showered together, in high school with all the other boys? Because I know myself, like when I went to high school parties, I would drink like 2-3 drinks. I start talking about everybody's penises. Like if I knew what everyone was packing or not packing. So like, I got to imagine like that information got out, was spread to the girls. So maybe not showering in high school together helps prevent bullying and because if you don't know everyone's penis size, you can't really bully or make fun of their penis because you don't know what it's all about. So like, I don't know. That seems like a fair question, right? Like, that's interesting. I wonder about, that information had to have gotten out. I guess it's frustrating for the girls. If you're a girl in high school now or whenever, like I would want the boys showering together after gym class or after practice. Therefore, like the girls from the 70s in high school, they probably knew a lot more about the penises, like not from seeing them, just from the rumors and that information being leaked out than modern times. Interesting to think about. Interesting. As for your question, the first person in the sauna dictates what's being worn or what's not being worn. If you're the first one in the sauna, you get to be naked. You get to set that tone. But if you're the third or fourth person in the sauna and the people already in the sauna are wearing a bathing suit or they're covering themselves with a towel, you need to be a follower and wear a bathing suit and hide your private parts. So then be the rule. I didn't make them. Like that's common knowledge. Unless you're over 85, then do whatever the fuck you want. But the first one in the sauna or the steam room sets the tone for everybody else. Go suck a fat one.